2019 has felt like a long, long year. Unsurprisingly, 2020 is following suit by having a pretty packed release schedule already. From AAAs like Cyberpunk 2077 to smaller indie darlings like Spiritfarer, there's plenty for you to sink your teeth into, especially if you want to channel zombies and vampires, as both Dying Light 2 and Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 are supposed to be out next year. Yup, supposed to be out next year. Some of these games only have a vague 2020 release date floating around, whereas others have a firm date in mind. To help you get up to speed on what's coming out in 2020, here's 20 games to look out for. Maybe keep your calendar handy, because, trust me, you're about to get a lot of release dates thrown your way. Ready? Then let's begin. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is the follow-up to 2015's Ori and the Blind Forest. With the same stunning art style from the first game, plus its continuing Metroidvania vibe, it tells the story of Ori, that little white guardian spirit, as they explore the forest of Nibel and uncover Ori's destiny. The crux of Ori is that you gradually open up new areas by unlocking new movement skills. So, this is a game that encourages you to revisit areas, and while you're at it, you might as well salivate at its stunning art. On February 11th, Ori will be leaping onto Xbox One and PC. As the first game is out on Switch, keep your fingers crossed for a Switch release date for Will of the Wisps to be announced too. Coming up on March 3rd is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Dealing with the first section of the game, up until you leave Midgar, it's a complete overhaul of the original 1997 title and has staff from the original working on it, including character designer Tetsuya Nomura, producer Yoshinori Kitase, and writing by Kazushige Najima. Seriously, just look at it. Major changes include the fact that you can use summons this early in the game, more real-time combat, and the ability to switch between any party member at any time. Final Fantasy VII is the first in the remake series, so both long-time fans and newcomers to the series are going to have plenty of other installments to look forward to. 8 years after New Leaf came out, on March 20th we're finally getting a brand new Animal Crossing game on the Nintendo Switch, in the form of Animal Crossing New Horizons. You've set up a new life on an island thanks to Tom Nook and his vacation packages, and now it's time to make it your home. So, you'll need to invite other animals to come join you, and can decide where they build their house. You'll be doing some manual labour too, as like in Pocket Camp, crafting is a key part of the game. Plus, stocking up on the in-game currency Nook Miles will let you purchase various special items. And if the promise of getting in debt to a raccoon doesn't entice you, incredibly, New Horizons seasons adjust depending on your actual location. In a completely different vein to Animal Crossing is Doom Eternal. Blasting onto PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch on March 20th, it's a sequel to 2016's Doom, and this time, demons have come to Earth to destroy anything and everything in their path. So, you've got to stop them. This time around, your super shotgun comes with a grappling hook that lets you yank yourself closer to enemies and swing around environments. Plus, you can attach a frickin' flamethrower, grenade launcher, or missiles to your armour. Some demons now also deteriorate in fleshy, bony ways as they soak up more of your bullets. Brutal. Write off your entire April right now, as on April 16, Cyberpunk 2077 finally arrives on PS4, Xbox One and PC. Set in Night City, you play the mercenary V as you search for a prototype implant that allows immortality. Along the way, you can tweak your fundamental biology, adding cyberware and implants to your fleshy body to allow yourself to see enemy weaknesses, scale walls, and loads more. There's self-driving cars, so you can freely shoot out windows at bad guys, dynamic weather that affects how NPCs behave, customizable apartments, and I cannot emphasize this enough, loads more. Marvel's Avengers lets you live out your superhero fantasies as you step into the shoes of the Hulk, Black Widow, Iron Man, Thor, and Miss Marvel. Captain America is, imagine me saying this with air quotations, dead. But things are a bit bad for the living Avengers 2 after the A-Day disaster, as the game is set 5 years after it, when superheroes have been outlawed. With both single-player and online multiplayer missions with up to 4 people, you'll be fighting to avenge Captain America's death, uncover a conspiracy discovered by Miss Marvel, and restore faith in superheroes. Out on May 15th on PS4, Xbox One and PC, expect Marvel's Avengers to stick around for a while as, by the sounds of it, there are plans to continually expand the available missions with regular content updates. After being delayed by 2 months, The Last of Us Part 2 is now set to release on May 29th on PS4. Featuring 19-year-old Ellie as the main playable character, the sequel to The Last of Us is focused on hate. We don't know much about it, but from the first couple of gameplay samples, Ellie is seen fighting against a cult of some kind, and seems intent on revenge for something truly terrible that happened. Possibly something that killed or endangered her love interest, Dina. Big changes abound gameplay-wise, like the fact that dogs can now hunt you using a scent trail that you leave, and that Ellie can go prone, lying on her front, making her even harder to detect. The Last of Us Part 2 is vying with Cyberpunk 2077 to be 2020's most anticipated release, so prepare for April and May to be busy as hell. And now for the titles that have a vague 2020 release date, and bear in mind that some of these could even be pushed back to 2021. We've heard very little about Halo Infinite, but it's coming. Master Chief is the protagonist. Cortana is presumably back in some form after Halo 5 hinted she might be the villain in the next game, and there's supposed to be more RPG elements this time around. September 2020 is being floated as the earliest Halo Infinite could release to Xbox One and PC, and maybe even Xbox Scarlet if it's out then. 4-player split-screen multiplayer is coming to the game too, and as for Battle Royale, 343 insists it would only happen if it was right for Halo. Forge mode is back, so it sounds like they're doing everything right for Halo Infinite. For now, keep an eye out for a firm release date. Dying Light 2 is supposed to be released in the first half of 2020, and continues the parkour survival horror of its predecessor. Set 15 years after the first game, in Dying Light 2 you have to quickly traverse through the ruined city, using your speed and skill to avoid the undead, who are lumberingly slow during the day but become more aggressive and much speedier at night. Dying Light 2 has a map that's 4 times the size of the first game, with crafting playing a large role as well as working with factions. Depending on who you help out, the city will change around you, with settlements either thriving or being destroyed, so no pressure. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is a bit of a mouthful, but as the sequel to the much-loved 2004 game, it's a pretty big deal. You're a vampire, duh, and are a thin blood, meaning you're looked down upon by full-blooded vampires and have everything to prove after vampires attacked humans in public, revealing their existence. You'll grow as a vampire, choosing to upgrade multiple abilities like controlling the mind of others, levitating objects, pure physical prowess, or many other skills. Kill too many innocents and you lose your humanity, devolving into a beast. Attack people in daylight and humans will stop going outside, with both humans and vampires hunting you down. Coming in 2020 to PS4, Xbox One and PC, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is going to keep you bloodsuckers busy well past the witching hour. Called System Shock 3 by most people, it has you facing up against the AI Shodan again. This reboot is being worked on by some of the developers who created Fallout New Vegas. So, if you ask me, expectations are already high. Like the original game, you play a hacker who has to contend with Shodan, an AI who controls the space station you live in. After removing Shodan's ethical constraints under the orders of a business executive, you awaken from a coma to find the AI has mutated the station's crew and made its robots hostile. Now it's time to regain control and destroy Shodan once and for all. There's no firm release date yet, but it should come out in 2020 for PS4, Xbox One and PC. Ubisoft's Pirate Ship Simulator is supposed to be out sometime after March 2020 on PC, PS4 and Xbox One. You know the drill by now. You're a pirate and you sail around the Indian Ocean stealing merchants' cargo and, inevitably, fighting with military and other pirates alike, using wind, cover and naval tactics to your advantage. There's a single-player campaign as well as the multiplayer mode named Loot Hunt, where you race to finish a treasure hunt against another team. Keep those fingers and peg legs crossed, as hopefully Skull and Bones won't be hit with another delay. Tell Me Why from Don't Nod Entertainment follows twins Allison and Tyler as they return home to Alaska, having to confront their childhood memories along the way. As Tyler is transgender, much of the twins' childhood focuses on how his development affected their upbringing, with GLAD working with Don't Nod to ensure that Tyler, the first playable trans character from a major studio, was an authentic representation of the transgender experience. You'll sample the twins' memories of what happened in their childhood and get to pick which one to believe, which leads to different outcomes and will affect the final ending of the game. So, prepare for some dedicated storytelling and, of course, multiple playthroughs. Indie game Spiritfarer is all about death, but not in a morbid way. Releasing on PS4, Xbox One, PC and Nintendo Switch in 2020, you step into the shoes of Stella, a Spiritfarer. As ferry master to the deceased, you befriend and care for spirits on board your boat as you ferry them to the afterlife. Farming, mining, fishing and cooking all play a part in Spiritfarer, and your buddy can even join in as your cat, Daffodil. Adorable. But you've got to learn how to part ways, as you eventually have to wave goodbye to your spirit friends. Way to the Woods is another indie out on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One and PC. It's a survival adventure, but with a twist. You play a deer and a fawn travelling through the ruins of cities and towns after civilization collapsed. Along the way, as you try to find the woods presumably, you'll need to find food, shelter and safety, as well as getting answers about what happened to humanity. It looks stunning already, and like Spiritfarer, looks like it might be just the kind of contemplative game 2020 needs. Dark Pictures returns in 2020 with Little Hope, the next episode in its horror anthology. This time it looks like the adventure is set in a small American town where supernatural events abound. The trailer shows something hunting the inhabitants, so expect a more folksy, perhaps Blair Witchy horror tale than The Man of Medan. Elden Ring is a collaboration from George R.R. Martin, the creator of Game of Thrones, and Hidetaka Miyazaki of From Software. In development since 2017, this grim RPG is set in an open world and, to be frank, we don't know a ton about it just yet. The trailer makes it look like it's at least partly drawing on Norse myth and iconography, with the Elden Ring itself appearing to be something that controlled life before something destroyed it. You'll be able to ride through the world on horseback, but, apart from that, anyone thirsting for more information should set their sights on 2020, when we'll hopefully get more information and a release date. Little Nightmares 2 is the sequel to the horror platformer Little Nightmares, and it looks just as creepy. Six is back, and with her is Mono. You'll be exploring the world outside of the moor and attempt to infiltrate the signal tower, coming up against a horrific host of weird enemies and twisted characters. There's no set release date yet, but you'll be seeing Six and her yellow raincoat again in 2020. Goo Blitz is just plain heartwarming, and that's a fact. There's not even a vague release date yet, so, fair warning, it might not even come out in 2020, but you need to know all about it all the same. Imagine a combination of Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing and Pokemon, and you have Goo Blitz. You have a farm to tend to and Goo Blitz to train, as well as dance battles with other trainers, collect collectibles, dress up your Goo Blitz, upgrade your Goo Blitz, and, basically, have a good old time. Lastly, Watch Dogs Legion is still due to come out in the 2021 fiscal year, which starts in April 2020, despite having scratched its original release date of March 6th. As part of hacking group DedSec, you take on the role of multiple characters this time around, and recruit your own allies, fighting against the surveillance state London has become. There's no single protagonist, and you'll have the freedom to try and recruit people you meet during missions. Watch Dogs Legion looks like it's going to be ginormous, and with your characters influencing how the story unfolds, perfect for multiple playthroughs. There you have it, 20 games to look out for in 2020. If you liked the video, chuck it a like, and why not hit subscribe while you're at it? Tapping that bell icon will notify you when we have a new video out, and considering we upload a new one every single day, you'll never be short of something to watch. See you in 2020, friend.